Lots of talk about innovation. We're over it. Time to do something. What's next? Let's build this team, launch this place, find this fix, and electrify this entire community. This is Cincinnati. And guess what?
Next lives here.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome to more EGFC Rocket League. I am Septilance here with Soy to bring you San Jose, the underdog of a line, beats the number 4 seed, and then today they go right up against the number 5 seed. This game, I feel, is destined to be a good one.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these are the two teams that finished second place in their respective conference playoffs. Cincinnati, they lost to that Delaware roster, that number 1 seed in the EGF right now. And San Jose State, they pushed UTA to Game 6 in that Western Conference Finals. So a lot to prove for both of these teams.
Yeah, absolutely. In San Jose, they put their money where their mouth is. Yesterday, they were able to eliminate Merit. I said that 4th seed placement out of the tournament entirely. This is a single bracket. There is no second chance. There is no comeback story. It is just you lose the game and you're gone. A look at the schedule very quickly. We know this game is coming up. After this, we have University of Connecticut up against DePaul. On the main channel, official EGF, that's going to be University versus Butler. And then after that, UTA versus RIT, 2 versus 7. And both those schools, I mean, those are some powerhouses.
Yeah, I mean, UTA and RIT were semifinalists last year. UTA, the defending champs of the EGF. Also, the game we get later, UConn versus DePaul, that's a rematch of grand finals of the Big East Championship. So a ton of action across the day.
Today's, the more I look at it, the more I'm like, wow, it's a really busy day. These are a phenomenal games so far. And then obviously this is our bracket. Whoever wins Delaware and Butler, whoever wins San Jose, Cincinnati, those two teams will face off. The very same with UT and RIT, and UConn and DePaul. So it's going to be down 8 teams down to 4, and then 4 turns into 2, and it's going to be over right then and there. And honestly, with a lot of these schools, you know, I'm confident that Delaware, they really do belong at the top, right? They are very impressive, very consistent with a lot of what they do. But a lot of these other schools, I mean, they are very, very hit or miss. So if they don't show up with their absolute A game today, like, we can see some big names eliminated here today.
Yeah, and there's a lot on the line. I mean, obviously, this is it. You know, the single elim bracket, you either lose or you either win or go home at this point. And again, for these two teams that we're about to watch, there is a lot to prove. Cincinnati, they're the newcomers to this league. They only played, I believe, 6 games of the regular season, but in those 6 games, they were impressive. In fact, in that Eastern Conference playoff, they beat RIT. So there is a lot of potential on this Cincinnati squad. And San Jose State, I mean, to push UTA to Game 6, that is no easy task. We've seen UTA, you know, I believe they only took 2 losses in the regular season. 1 was to Delaware, 1 was to RIT. So again, just a lot of potential here, but these are the games where your brawn is really tested.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. I think both these teams, I think realistically go into extended overtimes. This could go to Game 5. I think these teams can really go neck and neck. And of course, to root for Cincinnati a little bit, you know, I'm from Ohio. I gotta use that little bit of bias here, but realistically, San Jose have a good underdog story. And if they show up today like they did yesterday, they can really run away with this.
Yeah, to me, the key factor is you got to look out for the challenge game. If they can be on point, if they can read the field really well, then San Jose State, they're going to give Cincinnati a lot of trouble.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And San Jose, they're trying to get possession of the ball, trying to get their goal, but it's just constantly, you see, they have forced it back time and time again already. 30 off the clock. I'm quite surprised we haven't seen a goal yet with how a lot of the games yesterday went. It was just seconds, and now we just see a lot of UC kind of in the same boat. These teams trying to get ball possession, they're trying to get kind of any plan formulated, and the opposing team just interrupts it perfectly enough to disrupt the flow, so to speak. And now, almost a minute off the clock, I feel nobody has truly had possession of the ball.
Yeah, a little bit of back and forth, hard to gain possession off the start, but that's going to be kind of the question, is who can strike first? Who can make the other team, you know, apply some pressure and really make them beat each other here? And Samuel on the double tap. J-Dimes can't find the angle either. and that is a chance gone by the wayside.
Just off the crossbar there, off the side of the goal as well. Jade has to interrupt. It's a great aerial gameplay coming in from Toaster Doggo, trying to find a goal from up above. And now here comes another one. He able to block out Ezio. And again, back in nobody can really get much done. Both these teams are just passing the ball back and forth so consistently.
Very hard to really gain possession, but you can tell Cincinnati, they want to go to the air. They want to attack that backboard specifically, just try and drop that one down. But San Jose State, they've been wise to it so far.
You know, they both have. I meant at the beginning that I really think these teams are going to be quite in neck in terms of talent and in terms of capability to win this. And we've just seen that over. We've got great defense from both sides, a consistent offense that they keep interrupting one another time and time again. Now, 3 o'clock, we've already burned through almost half of our time bank and nobody has scored yet.
Love the positioning so far from these players. That was a huge save on Ezio's kind of challenge. And J-Dimes, that's a misflip. That's going to be a chance for San Jose State. Does he get back? No! Toaster Doggo strikes first.
That wasn't even a chance. That was handed to them. That was free for San Jose. Nobody was on goal, and you can see just no boost in time. Ezio could not get back. Maybe UC gets a little bit overaggressive. They want to kick it into high gear and score, but they left their goal open to do it. And now San Jose, just halftime, they've taken a lead.
And right as I was saying, I love the positioning of these players. J-Dimes gets caught out on that play. He's a little too far forward, can't get up to the challenge in time, and misflips. And then not enough time was bought on the back end, and now San Jose State, they're trying to ice this game early with that goal, but no chance the defense holds on.
Oh, there
well, maybe not for now. Toaster Doggo get it around the last man.
Toaster Doggo again. I believe that's 2 goals already. This one, they definitely worked a little bit free, but this one, there was some great coordination with the teammates and just some great work around all the way from San Jose. You see they've now fallen into a 2-point deficit, only 2 minutes left on the clock. They gotta get waking up here.
There's still plenty of time to work with, but yeah, Cincinnati, their defense looks a little out of sorts at times. Players not respecting the speed of San Jose State, as look at it's Johnny on the dunk to make it 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, this is insane because you know this, right? It's 9 a.m. for San Jose right now. You'd think they need to be the ones that are waking up a little bit. In Ohio, so you see, you've really got to put the pedal to the metal, so to speak, because if you lose this, a full game deficit is not how you want to start off a tournament match.
Especially since we've seen in the past, how good this team can be and how much quality chances they had earlier. Ezio makes it 3-1.
Yeah, Ezio puts something on board here for UC, and now great coordination, a great shot from Burst. Ezio right back, and a great disruption from J-Dimes there, actually. I didn't catch it the first time around. Knocked somebody right out of the way so they couldn't block goal. You see they have 1 point on board. They've got to do that 2 more times in 2 minutes. Definitely possible.
And that's something that Cincinnati has thrived off of in the past. They love to play physical, go for those bumps, and that has been a huge staple of their game.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, I really like it because I feel like we don't see a lot of other teams do that. I feel like we don't see a lot of other teams kind of play old game style, but now we see that from Cincinnati so consistently. They're really facing kind of knock the opposing team off their wheels a little bit. Now they've got 90 seconds just under to score 2 times to try to keep themselves alive for this game. May have lost. I'm not completely sure, so I'm going to keep talking until he returns. But Toaster Doggo with that 4th point line, I think a hat trick for Toaster Doggo, actually. Possibly a haul. I'm not actually sure. We'll take a look at that at the end, but a great goal nonetheless. San Jose now up 4-1, a minute 17 on the scoring twice in a minute 20. That was definitely doable, but scoring 3 times. Now that's suddenly become harder because they are just now approaching the 70-second marker online. Looks like Toaster Doggo trying to get a little bit higher, and J-Dimes here trying to get some value as well. So a lot of back and it's odd. This game feels so back and forth. Then you look at the score and go, wait a minute, this is not back and forth in the slightest right now. It's going to be San Jose all day. 3-point lead over the University of Cincinnati. 50 seconds left on the clock, and since may just have to call this one a GG go next because they do not have the time to score 3 times here. It's Johnny goes for a goal. I think he kind of ran out of boost there. I don't think that was really an intended goal, but you see they do find a disruption, and now they might be able to realize off the back of it, but not quite. Off the crossbar, not going to find what they're looking for now. Some great value as well. As you see, they've got possession of the ball, but like I said, this one, guaranteed. It would have to score once per 8.5 seconds, give or take, and that is, you know, that is quite stinking hard. So now 20 seconds left. You see they've got to kind of give game one. San Jose, I mean, 13th seed. They knocked out the 4th seed yesterday. They are looking to knock the 5th seed out today. 7 seconds
They are
left.
all
There he
over
is.
on this defense right now. I don't know. Oh, Ezio gonna get one for the road. That's a good
Can he
sign
do it
for
again?
Cincinnati.
2 more times in
is-
4 seconds.
This is miracle territory for game one for Cincinnati, but I mean, it is just game one of the series, and
Right.
you have to commend San Jose State's defense. Even when Cincinnati had chances, there was almost always a player ready to respond, and that's just great awareness and great positioning by San Jose State.
No doubt about that in the slightest. San Jose, their offense was, I mean, it was good. It wasn't particularly super. Definitely job done against UC. However, San Jose's defense, that's really where I was like, wow. You know, I was very impressed with what I saw from them. And okay, so Tostodago got the hat trick, only 3 goals, not 4. That was my mistake. It's Johnny finding the 4th goal, and just, of notable difference, Cincinnati, what is that? 10 shots on goal. A little bit, can't get a perfect shot on it, but it looks like a lot is my point here, right? And they did the points online that they wanted. San Jose, that felt like a convincing win. Like, that felt like not an accident. So they really took that one and ran with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for San Jose State, that was a fantastic way to start off your day. I mean, not only did Tostodago get the hat trick, that last couple of goals they got were just so commanding, right? They were dunks over top of the Cincinnati defense. It didn't feel like the defense was very confident in their play. It felt like they were trying to gain control, and San Jose State was just overwhelming them. That is a massive swing, because typically it's San Jose State that against these higher up seeds, they tend to struggle a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. This is usually when we see kind of their time to shine, so to speak, not working out as well as kind of an individual situation that we have seen before. But San Jose, we've seen them take it down to the absolute wire. We mentioned that right at the beginning of this. I say it every time I see them, they have given me the longest overtime that I have ever cast in Rocket League, nearly, I think, 8.5 minutes or something wild like that. So we really have seen them take it down. But you see, like I said, they've got to get waking up here, because San Jose, they have not come to mess around. Looks like I may have lost Soy again. I'm not sure what's going on there, but I hope you guys like my voice, because you are stuck with it for a very long time today. Rocket League right into Overwatch after this. For now, we've got to get through San Jose versus UC. Going to be going toe-to-toe, and half a minute off the clock. This is looking very reminiscent of that first game that we saw. It's gets a decent demo, but there was nobody there to capitalize off the back at first. Was wrong place, wrong time, and J-Dimes as well just cannot get in. It's Johnny is going to be able to spawn right away and get in the way to make sure a goal does not come through for UC. 4 minutes left on the clock, and now UC trying to make the magic happen. They really want to win game 2, because if they go into game 3, I mean, they were at a 2-game deficit. That is going to be a massive disaster for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm really looking for Cincinnati. Their defense, they've got to be a bit quicker. We saw them really create some space by, being physical and getting a lot of booming clears in the past, like that play right there. But against San Jose State, they've just been so wise to the play with their positioning that it's been so difficult for Cincinnati to really get quality chances. But as I say that, J-Dimes turning on a dime, finding a goal.
Yeah, J-Dimes, that was quick. Didi actually sets up J-Dimes. J-Dimes turns all the way around and just knocks the ball right into goal. There gets the confetti as well. The children will cheer for J-Dimes here. And you see they have 1 goal online, 3.5 minutes left. They want to get a couple more to really secure a lead over San Jose. If there's a team that's going to turn this around in the blink of an eye, it really does feel like it would be San Jose.
They got to play so careful, though. I mean, now you can tell there's a little bit of pace underneath these challenges for Cincinnati. They're starting to wise up to some of these plays. And San Jose State, they're kind of caught in their own back zone here. That's a huge clear, and that extra touch is going to buy a little bit of time. A counterattack from Tostodago. What a play!
Yeah, knocks it right into the ground, just spikes it into goal there. Tostodago has the aerial advantage, goes over, smacks it clean into the ground right underneath the defender, and finds a goal. UC, they had a lead for about 20 seconds, and now it is gone 1-1, basically a complicated 0-0. 3 minutes left on the clock, and these teams are ready to score once again. San Jose with first ball possession. Oh,
Great bump. It's Johnny can't find the double tap, and now there's just so much space given to San Jose State through the middle. They're not contested through this midfield, and it's really difficult for Cincinnati to find just a clean challenge on this ball. That's a flip reset, almost beating Burst, but Didi keeping the pressure on.
the pressure has stayed on. Indeed, and off the crossbar again, possibly the double tap of J-Dimes with another great disruption of momentum there. And now sending it down the goal, or down the field toward the goal of San Jose. Nostradamo has possession once again. And if you are Cincinnati, that's the one player you want to make sure does not have ball possession, because every time he gets it, he scores almost immediately after. A great demo from Nostradamo onto Ezio there. DD trying to clean up the slack as well, but you see they are desperate to win game two.
It is so difficult too, because you can tell San Jose State is playing with some momentum here. I mean, Toaster Doggo's not typically the guy you see on the highlight reel for San Jose State. The fact that he is having a great game is massive, as that one nearly finds its way in. The dunk over top makes it 2-1.
Absolutely, the dunk over top makes it 2-1. Like you said, Toaster Doggo sets themselves up for greatness there and finds a goal immediately after it. 2 minutes left on the clock. San Jose, they are up by but a single point, and now the clock is ticking. It's really becoming a now or never moment for UC. If San Jose can win this one, things are going to look very...
Chances on the side of San Jose State, just quality over quantity, in the defense of Cincinnati, it really looks a little sporadic at times.
Yeah, no, things are definitely looking mildly sporadic. I think that's a good observation and a good explanation of what we have seen here today. The Toaster Doggo now going to be demoed here, and now it's Johnny with the ball possession instead. J9's able to get in the way, disrupt things just a little bit, and some great value as well. You see they're not letting goals get in as easily, and now some great value moving forward. J9's trying to get a little bit of value of their own, but Ezio finding the demo onto It's Johnny. You see they really need to score here. They've got just around 60 seconds. Oh, and
Still
that,
plenty of time
never
to
mind.
work with, but it's Johnny slotting it inside the near post.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that was just a right place, right time scenario. We saw UC go for the initial block. They get interrupted, I think, by Toaster Doggo and Didi, and then It's Johnny just kind of walks in. There was really no defender coming up after this.
Making it 3-1 now. This is a tall task for Cincinnati. And the way that San Jose State's defense has played, I mean, it has just been so difficult to really get those quality chances that Cincinnati's used to getting.
Absolutely, and it's Johnny already able to find a demo onto J-Dimes. Ezio might off the top, going to be able to find a goal here, separate point differential by just one, and now some great value coming through. It's only a 1 point differential from San Jose. UC may be able to bring this one back, but it is going to be difficult.
There's still plenty of time, 39 seconds plus the ball. You know, if it stays up in the air in that 0 time, you can continue to play, but again, just the pressure's on. Oh, that's actually an awkward touch, and is going to allow for Cincinnati to try and set up their offense here.
Absolutely. Cincinnati might be able to set up the offense and get things figured out, but it is going to be very difficult to make that happen. San Jose 20 seconds away from winning game 2, but UC only 18 seconds away from finding a goal. A great demo from Toaster Doggo immediately disrupts the momentum that UC had in that moment. In San Jose, they give ball possession J-Dimes with a goal of a lifetime, but Toaster Doggo with a better defense off the side of the goal, not able to find it, and now all of a sudden San Jose 3 seconds away from greatness. If UC can score even in this garbage time, this extra time, they may be able to tie things up and force an overtime, but no, Burst just can't stay under the ball enough. It's going to go high in the sky, but San Jose going to be the ones to grab it. Ezio with a great disruption as well, and UC, I said it already, they are desperate to not let this ball touch the ground, but it looks like it may finally. No, it's Ezio again. The ball yet just to grab a DD, going to come through with the slam, going to be caught by Burst once again. And UC, I mean, at this point, you've almost got to let them, just due to the dedication of how long they fought to make it happen. And there it is. Ezio in overtime, able to secure a 3rd point online for UC. Going to be going into a game 2 overtime.
You're kidding me. Cincinnati kept that ball up for so long, and there wasn't even a ton of power on that shot, too. Just
There really was not.
barely sneaking by the last defender.
Yeah, and now 5 seconds going up. The overtime will not stop until somebody scores. The clock starts counting up instead of down. San Jose and UC. This is the game I expected from the start. I really did expect this to be a very close series. And UC, it looks like they are finally waking up and kicking it into high gear. Now 20 seconds left. And honestly, somebody go back and clip that because it is incredible that UC kept the ball alive as long as they did. You do not see that often, especially with a team like San Jose just desperately trying to get it out of the air. Now it's going to be 30 seconds on the clock, and again, that just goes up until somebody scores.
Now the pressure is on. I mean, we talked about it. To go down 2 games in a series, it is hard to reverse sweep any of the teams remaining in this bracket. If San Jose State can hold on here, but they have been pressured for the last minute or so. A lot of difficult plays to be made. They've been able to get this ball out of the zone so far. But again, the defense is just at times for both sides look a little, out of sorts sometimes.
Oh, absolutely, and it looks like that's going to be a decent setup with J-Dime's right place, right time. And like you said, it's going to be difficult to reverse sweep some of the teams that we have left in the roster. But, I mean, that's the very reason San Jose got here, right? They are no stranger to reverse sweeps. They were able to reverse sweep Marist yesterday, but now they've taken the lead. They don't want to be reverse swept. They don't want to have their efforts all made for naught from UC, but now it's going to be 3-3, 90 seconds into overtime. We were doing so well on being on schedule, but this overtime, it is gonna throw us off just a little bit.
That's an awkward play for DD. Look at the pressure across and just, that's a quality chance from Burst, the flip. Oh no, the defense thought he had time to gather boost, but Burst is gonna score and tie up this series.
Toaster Doggo got a little bit overzealous there. I think tried to read a jump from Burst and instead sent themselves way away from goal. So UC, they win game 2, and now all of a sudden that guarantees a game 4. And I said it in game 1, UC, you've got to wake up, and it looks like they finally are. 9 shots on goal from San Jose. What is that? 6 + 4 is 10. 10 from Cincinnati. And it looks like there's only a 1-point differential as well. Also, DD, currently a 100 ping, 116 from It's Johnny. I know we had ping issues with San Jose yesterday, but it looks like they may be even worse today. That is not a good sign for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough with the online format. I mean, when you're playing a lot of, especially with the distance too, you're talking Cincinnati to San Jose, not relatively nearby in terms of regions,
right.
But either way, San Jose State, they were fantastic once again for the most part, right up until the end. Their defense got a little out of sorts. Just the positioning of these players was just slightly off. And you have to commend Cincinnati to not give up on that 0-time play, to get that goal, with short time remaining, to, there wasn't even a lot of power on that shot, right? The defense was roughly in the right place, got a piece of it, I think, and it just still wasn't enough on it. But again, that is really the key here. That rotation has to be solid, on point, and clean. And that's what Cincinnati has been able to do in the past. They've been able to disrupt that rotation by playing physical. But the physicality isn't there this series.
Yeah, absolutely. The physicality that we're looking for has definitely not been seen so far. So we need to see kind of a step up in that department, so to speak. Both these teams now desperate to win this game, desperate to put themselves in the lead of the point differential. And honestly, I've said it already, I think this has the potential to go either way, just in so many different variations. I think San Jose can take this. I think UC can take this. I think this could be 4 games. I think it could be 5. There really is some great potential from both of these teams, and I'm very curious to see who this is going to end in favor of.
I love the way San Jose State is playing through the midfield right now. They've made it so difficult for Cincinnati's defense to really get a read on the ball, so there's not much time of possession on the side of Cincinnati.
Yeah, there most certainly is not. Cincinnati, they want to get possession of the ball. They want to get hyper-aggressive. They really want to set kind of the momentum in their favor, but that is going to be much easier said than done. San Jose, a team notorious for their aggression, for getting in your face and forcing you to play that defensive play style, but UC desperate to not let that happen either. First now might be able to get a free goal, but no, what a save indeed. Rocket League announcer DD just barely able to make it in time there, and all of a sudden, 3.5 minutes left on the clock. Clock is burning away, and yet neither of these teams have scored.
And on top of that, too, the resource management, they didn't have much left in the tank, but off of that amazing save, all of a sudden they pick up those corner boosts and they're able to get a great transition chance.
Yeah, there definitely is an opportunity to change the momentum and flip things in favor of San Jose, and just this feels very reminiscent of Game 1, where nobody's really had possession of the ball. It's been so incredibly back and forth that these teams are constantly kind of handing it to one another over and over again. But now I'm very curious to see if that's going to be a free goal. But no, J-Dime's able to pick things up all over again. Gets the block out of the shot from San Jose. Ezio looking for a block of their own, but it's not needed. Didi going to get possession of the ball. Here comes Ezio. Pass back to It's Johnny. I mean, it is just still back and forth over and over and over.
Great passing through the midfield has made it very difficult for each side to get a read on the ball, but the problem is the resource management. Cincinnati, you can tell they backtracked right there. They gave so much space to It's Johnny to go for that air dribble, but again, no dice there. But that demo is huge.
Oh.
That's going to be a chance on net.
Woo.
Big save by J-Dimes.
Yeah, that was the second huge save we've seen in this game. The first one from Didi from San Jose, that second one from J-Dimes. Both of them not allowing the enemy team to score, but they were just, I mean, milliseconds away from missing the ball on both of those great defenses so far. We have crossed halftime now, coming up about 2 minutes left on the clock, and Cincinnati and San Jose, they are both still sitting at that big fat 0, so now we are just going to wait, and this very well could go into a 0-0 overtime.
Positioning is key once again. A lot of these challenges are just past one player here or there, and it's forcing the last two men back to be very careful with the ball and buy a lot of time.
Absolutely. And it's funny because I'm not positive on this, but I think every time UC has scored, it's been over at least 2 defenders. But every time it's just the 1v1, those are the goals they're not getting. So that is quite funny that they're kind of scoring in their deficit rather than scoring in their advantage. But 90 seconds on the clock and nobody has scored yet. This really does feel to me like we're going to go into a 0-0 overtime.
It really does. But maybe a chance there? No, and that's something that San Jose State has done a fantastic job of mitigating the quality chances. It's so easy for offense to get slogged down in the corner. What an angle J-Dimes found, but it's wide of the net.
Yeah, J-Dimes was so close to making that happen, but it was just a little bit wide, not able to get into goal quite like he wanted it. Now we see It's Johnny going for the double tap from above, but J-Dimes with a great disruption. 50 seconds left on the clock, and it is going to come down now or never moment. These teams, one of them has to score, and it might be right here, but no, the crossbar again. Going to come through some great defense from San Jose, going to keep the ball alive. 40 seconds left, and both these teams need to make the magic happen.
That was so dangerous. It still is. J-Dimes, but again, positioning, last man back, able to find that extra touch. Can they clear their own zone? No, the pressure's still on here.
The pressure is on indeed. 20 seconds left, and one of these teams just needs to score. That sounds so easy, but they've made it so hard. A great defense coming out from both sides in the offenses. They just do not have the answers quite yet. It's Johnny going to get a great setup here from Didi, but another great disruption coming down to the final 3 seconds. This is going to become a golden goal scenario unless burst or UC can find this right here, right now. The ball yet to touch the ground, and Ezio going to look for it as well, but near it is. That forced overtime, and now it is going to count up until one of these teams puts a point on board.
And again, just so many good chances both ways, but really they've both found their goals by catching over extensions. The last man back has to be so careful.
Going to need a tune-up after that.
And just like that, Cincinnati win it in overtime, and we appear to have had some connection issues on the technical side here, but Ezio with the overtime game winner, and Cincinnati, they take the lead in the series, and it's been a very kind of odd series because the typical play styles for both of these schools haven't really come to fruition here. On Cincinnati, we typically see a lot of booming clears, a lot of physical play, but the physical play just hasn't been there, and it's been a lot of midfield passing for Cincinnati. Meanwhile, on the side of San Jose, when they found success against UTA and teams like that, it was through challenges and positioning. It was through winning those 50-50s, those basically coin toss level plays.
Yeah, right.
But here you're seeing a lot of great transition goals. You're seeing a lot of great passing plays. You're seeing diving saves across the board. Even here, Didi is frames away from being able to make that save. But at the end of the day, it's the shift play styles here. Cincinnati, they're finding a lot more passing lanes, more than they usually do. And San Jose State, their ability to transition from defense to offense has been fantastic so far.
Absolutely, and that is arguably their strongest ability, at least in my opinion, is San Jose's ability to just immediately from offense to defense. There's no real consideration. There's no reset. They just already know exactly what they need to be doing, and it works out so darn well for them. But they'd be down a game, but there's plenty of time to turn this around. They won in a Game 5 yesterday against Marist College, so they are no strangers to that Game 5. But Cincinnati, they are a couple of points away from knocking San Jose out of the bracket.
And again, we talked about it before, there is a lot on the line for both of these schools. They both want to prove that they are at the top of their game. That's a great chance off the post and wide. And great job by Tozer Doggo not to panic on that shot.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is another thing that we kind of have not given our credit to San Jose for, is they are not ones to crack under pressure. They are not going to start making small mistakes because they're nervous. They are going to play at their 110% the entire time we have them on broadcast here today. That is just something they do as a team, and it really does impress me every time I see it. It's quite amazing burst now, and Ezio going to be able to get a little bit lined up. It's Johnny goes for the goal, but Ezio with a great block there. 3:40 left on clock, and yet nobody has scored this very well. Could go quite a while before we get another point online, but who knows? In the blink of an eye, we could see a point up for either of these teams.
Oh, J-Dime's getting demoed. That's actually massive, but burst, that was a great flick, and a chance over top, maybe gets the second! You're kidding me! The physical play is back, and burst strikes first.
Yeah, first able to blow up Didi there. The demo comes through, and there's nobody left. That was the only defender online, so a great value coming through. Burst was able to find a great goal onto San Jose's Didi, and there we go. UC already with the lead.
Burst found that. That's going to be a second goal. Ezio, what an angle!
Oh my goodness, Ezio, what an angle indeed. Here we go. It is going to be right back up. Johnny not able to get in the way, and UC better late than never, but it feels as if they have finally woken up. Welcome to the game, my friends. They have gotten 2 points online. 3 minutes and 15 seconds left. One more point online, and San Jose will have a massive hill to climb. Oh my God, burst! Come on, that was 3 goals in like 30 seconds.
Look at this play. Burst steals the corner boost on the defensive side, and that dead drop. There's just nothing to it.
I think if you went to clip that moment, I think you can get all 3 goals in a single Twitch clip. That was so fast. That's just back to back to back. Great value from UC. They were so close to losing this. And Toaster Doggo gonna put a point on board for San Jose. Everybody's offense is looking great. Everybody's defense, not so much. We are only 2 minutes into the match. I'm already 4 points online, nearly. I think, yeah, 4 is the most we've seen from a school so far. So actually, there's Cincinnati. They have not quite made the most, but they're already 1 point away from tying the most we've seen already today.
That goal was so beautiful on the Cincinnati defender, and then Toaster Doggo snipes the corner. It was a beautiful chance. They need more of those challenges to go their way, but it's been so difficult again because of all these midfield passes.
Yeah, absolutely. It really has become quite difficult, especially it gets harder for San Jose because the more aggressive UC gets, it forces San Jose to kind of play on a back foot, kind of backpedal a little bit, and they don't get to play their own offensive play style, which is where they really start to shine. So we are seeing a little bit of miscommunication and misplay here and there now from San Jose as they have to adapt to their play style a lot faster than I think they want to. be all about that slow burn here. San Jose just desperately trying to put 2 more goals online. Only 2 minutes left until they lose this and the series to Cincinnati. Keep in mind, folks, this is a single elimination bracket. There is no losers bracket. There is no comeback story. There are no second chances. So San Jose, they want to score twice. They want to put themselves back online because they do not want to be taken out by UC here today.
You have to be so careful again, but they're running out of time, and Toaster Doggo has no boost to go up for that ball. He's gonna have to turn back at some point, and they want to continue to apply this pressure, but again, no boost in the tank means Cincy's gonna find that clear.
Yeah, absolutely. Cincy, they're going to get things lined up, and they're going to find the clear of a lifetime. 75 seconds left on the clock. San Jose needs about 35 seconds to score twice, 35 seconds per goal, that is. And now DD looking for one early on, but Ezio, right place, right time, able to just steal all momentum from that ball right away.
60 seconds left on the clock.
Another great save and burst. That's another huge clear. Here does J-Dimes have the touch? No, but it doesn't matter. Again, just there's a player for Cincinnati right where they need to be if they can find that angle. No, Toaster Dog off the post. Another beautiful chance that can't find its way home.
Yeah, not going to be working out quite yet. Like you said, just cannot find its way home. A great demo from J-Dimes, but a little bit late as Toaster Doggo has already taken possession of the ball back toward the goal of Cincinnati. Here comes another one off the crossbar looking for the double tap, and it looks like they're not going to be able to find it quite yet. 30 seconds left, and this may already be over for San Jose. The clock is ticking, but there's a second goal. They've got 20 seconds to keep themselves alive here.
Overextended. Burst loses that challenge. J-Dimes was downfield. He needed to be back and gets punished by Toaster Doggo on the lead pass. So 20 seconds, still doable for San Jose State.
Absolutely. It looks like San Jose State, they've got 17 seconds left to make the doable happen. It's going to be very difficult, but again, definitely get things lined up. San Jose with the 2 points, 10 seconds to find a third, but Cincinnati, they very well may have done it. They may have secured a spot in the semifinals, but only time will tell. 2 seconds left, down to 1, and there it is. San Jose needs to find this goal in extra time. We saw it once from Cincinnati, so San Jose, they have to match their opponent down to a T, and there it is. Cincinnati, they will win their third and final game, and San Jose, the underdog, the reverse sweep team, will be eliminated from the bracket.
That's just a harsh way to go for San Jose State. You felt like they had some beautiful chances, but it was Cincinnati in the end who found, I mean, that burst of offense early in the game was really
insane.
what sealed the deal here in Game 4.
Absolutely. I mean, it was breathtaking. It was so just blink and you miss it moment. Like, it was just all of a sudden Cincinnati went from 0 to 3. Like I said, if you go back and clip that, I think you can get all 3 in a single clip. Like, it happened so quickly coming through, and that was just amazing. Also, I think it's funny that the other game on the main channel also just ended right now because I watched their interview. He joined the channel. So both these games ended at the exact same time, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, and again, for Cincinnati, this was kind of what we were missing from those first 2 games.
Right.
That burst of offense, that's more Cincinnati. That, play to the name, Burst was fantastic there. He made some great challenges, but, that very kind of, moment play, in that 30-second gap where it's just constant pressure, constant quality chances, and the speed right from kickoff. Ezio is dashing downfield, finding those hard to cut angles. Even the waterfall goal, the guillotine drop. I mean, that goal was spectacular. I mean, that is a difficult angle to cut. But Cincinnati with that win, they advance to play Butler, it looks like, in the semifinals over top of the number 1 seed. So a huge upset on the other side of the bracket, and that is going to be a fun semifinal game.
It is upsets all day long, but that is exactly what I expected from these teams. I said it at the start that we could continue to see that trend happen in our future games. But first, we're going to throw to a super quick break, folks, and then we are going to be back in an interview with Burst, one of the players from the University of Cincinnati. So don't go far, because we've got another game coming up right after that when we see you in a minute with the interview. Welcome back, everybody. And like I said, a quick break indeed. We now are talking to Burst, one of the players from the University of Cincinnati, who scored personally my favorite goal during that game with a great demo onto DD and then finding a phenomenal goal after. But Burst, I mean, how do you feel? You've survived another round of the bracket.
If I'm gonna be honest, dude, I am anxious as all get out. I didn't even know I was playing today. I'm the sub. I got the holler at like 11:20. They're like, "Hey, Burst, we need someone to play." I'm like, "All right, get me in."
Well,
Hang on a
it
time
paid off,
frame.
man. It absolutely paid off. Like I said, you scored my favorite goal of the entire thing. I mean, just a phenomenal turnaround for you guys. And of course, being from Ohio, I'm super stoked to see you guys play well. But my question for you is kind of a unique one. I don't know if you know, but you're going up against a Butler next. It was going to be either Butler or Delaware, and Delaware, our #1 seed team, has been eliminated. So are you more nervous now that, like, are you nervous less because it's not the #1 seed, or are you more nervous because it's the team that beat the #1 seed?
Honestly, I mean, personally, for our team, we take every team the same. We treat them.
course.
We don't care what rank they are. We have a game plan. We have it set, and we just play our game. And we don't really look at the other team's ranks. We just play our own game. So to answer your question, I don't really care. I'm always anxious. I'm always scared. But, hey, we got the dub today, and yeah, we're going on to the next one. But yeah,
Absolute. And
So-
then Soy,
so
there we go.
My one question for you is, I don't know if you can hear me. I'm
No, you're good. You're with
experiencing
us.
There we go. Okay. So my question for you, can you kind of walk us through what your game plan was this series? Because it felt like you kind of at some point changed your style of play throughout the series. Can you kind of walk through what the game plan was?
yeah. So for the first game, we didn't really get a warm up in, so that was our warm up. We weren't very confident with each other. Us as players, we haven't really played that much together, and so everything was pretty new for everyone. But we're all third men, kind of. So we give them a lot of space, and I started to like notice that towards the second or third game, and I was like, we need to maybe put more pressure onto them and make sure that they don't get free touches or free flicks out of the back, to force us into like 3v2 situations. So I guess that's what we kind of swapped. We just had a game plan of just play our game. We don't really have anything to worry about. We don't care if we win or lose. We just want to play the best Rocket League we can. So
Absolutely. I mean, there definitely was that moment. We even talk about it at the beginning of the game where you guys are kind of known for your physicality, your constant aggression of kind of bumping the opponents out of the way, going for early demos and scoring off the back. And we noticed you guys weren't doing that. So we kind of picked up on that as well, that things were maybe a little bit unusual. But I mean, you said you guys have not played before together. You might want to start working on that, because this was a very strong team today, especially on that final game. You guys really, like, 3 goals in like 30 seconds was insane. So my final question for you, not really one about the game, just one about you, as a player. Is there anybody you want to shout out, anybody you want to thank? If not, that's fine, but I always like to ask.
I gotta shout out my teammates, of course, J Dimes and Ez. You guys are goated. You guys are great. Gotta shout out UC, great college. If you guys are seniors in high school, go to UC. It's a great college. Great Rocket League program, great everything. So I'll shout those guys out.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much, Burst. And maybe someone will get to interview you again in the near future. But for the time being, you get to go celebrate with your team. And you have survived another round, my friend. So congratulations, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. And with that, folks, we're going to throw it to a super quick break, and we'll be right back with UConn versus DePaul coming up after this. So we'll see you in just a minute.
Here, we do what others don't.
Dream what others won't, driven to leap forward, determined to always give back.
Here, we work where giants have played, where the connection of work and ethic is made.
A diverse community possessed with a passion
To know and grow and go and show the world we are prepared to change it. Here, we ask what must be done, for in doing we learn and earn success.
and you can get there from here.
DePaul University. Here, we do.
Though we are many, we are part of something. A force. Bigger than all of us. Our distinct fingerprints collectively shaping and forever changing what makes UConn, UConn. Forever making our mark. Forever making UConn a part of us.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome to more Rocket League. I am Sepulence, joined by Soy, to bring you the University of Connecticut versus DePaul University. This game destined, as always, to be a great one. We have seen some phenomenal upsets across the board so far, and there are just more waiting in the wings. We have seen San Jose eliminate Marist. We have seen Butler eliminate Delaware, and now, will we see DePaul eliminate UConn? Will these top teams begin or continue to fall? Only time will tell, but Soy, I am incredibly excited for what this game has to offer.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I said it before at the start of this broadcast. This is a rematch of grand finals of the Big East Conference. And if you watch the Big East this year, it was wild. I mean, there were so many teams that looked so dominant. And every moment, every team had their moments offensively where they just popped off. Like, there was no stopping them. And UConn, it was their moment in that bracket. They popped off as the 7th seed out of 8-9 teams in the Big East. They were the underdogs that went through all of the upper bracket teams, and they ended up playing DePaul in the finals, and I believe they won that series 4-1. So against DePaul, now you're only in a best of 3, and a lot of pressure on the line again. Winner of this goes on to the Final Four.
Absolutely, the Final Four, a wonderful place to be, but being this close, of course, all those teams are going to want it so incredibly bad. And as I always say, like a broken record, they're single elimination. There's no losers bracket. If you're taken out here today, you do not continue. What is that saying? You do not pass go. You do not have clout, whatever. But you no longer get to play for the season. That's what I'm trying to say. So UConn, they're trying to get rid of DePaul. All the same, DePaul trying to get rid of UConn. They want to secure these spots in that Final Four. And honestly, I said this to San Jose and Cincinnati. I think this has potential to go either way. The seed differential, I do not think indicates how close these teams really are.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned it before. The Big East was so compact, throughout the season. It was really difficult to kind of judge who was on top and who, could fall potentially. I mean, UConn, they did not have a great start to their season.
Right.
That fall split, I believe they went something along the lines of 3-6, whereas DePaul, they looked like they might be one of the higher ups of the league after going, practically even in the Big East. They skyrocketed ahead once the out of conference play started, and UConn, they also turned themselves around. So since the start of this spring split, they have been, just on another level. And I mean, like we've been saying, this could go either way very easily.
Yeah, and DePaul, one of those teams in particular that just loves demos. If I'm not mistaken, we see them getting demos left, right, and center over and over again. Also, DePaul playing with Shakuki, who I'm not sure I have ever seen before. So that may be a new player, at least to my eyes.
And on UConn, Anton, we saw yesterday, but Anton, unless he's under a different tag, is not the same player. We saw Chirpoid play in that Big East final against DePaul, so possibly some new players coming in here when everything's on the line.
Yeah, perhaps both teams had the same idea, and they've spiced up their roster a little bit and introduced kind of a wild card to get things mixed up, but it looks like some great value already coming through for both these teams. A solid defense on both sides.
What I'm looking for in this series in particular, UConn's passing plays. You saw there right off the start, looks like they're going for a lot of midfield crosses. So long as they don't get slogged down in these corners, their offense should be just fine. But that also goes both ways. DePaul, if they can, find a way to get that ball, feed that ball mid, find Blackwraith and Jacko specifically. Blackwraith was really the player to watch throughout the DePaul playoff run. He stepped up his game in a massive way. If he can get online and going, DePaul will be very scary. But that was a great chance that got stuffed by Jacko.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, I have been informed that Anton and Chirp are the same person. So that is Anton, that is Chirp. So it's not as big a swap coming out from UConn as we may expected. But Jocko being subbed in for DePaul, that is definitely something to keep an eye out on. Shakuki as well. Like I said, a name that I have not seen before. So DePaul coming in with 2/3 of a new roster compared to what they had yesterday.
Yeah, they've got to play very careful too. I mean, Connecticut, through this first half, you can tell they're using these sideboards. That's a decent chance by Anton, but sent higher than that. Great save by Blackwraith too. Again, positioning on that back line, so important.
Absolutely. We talked about this already, that Black Wraith, the player to watch out for. I mean, just some great value all the way around. Great offense, great defense, and really, like you said, the kind of a star-studded player for DePaul's playoff run. And now we have to see if they can continue to keep the momentum here. DePaul and UConn crossing halftime, no points online.
Great chance there off that catch, but now DePaul backboard play, going for the demo, trying to leave it open. Anton gets back in time. Good defensive stand by UConn, but it does feel like just the time of possession has been all in favor of UConn so far.
Yeah, absolutely. It really does feel like we've kind of seen some great value all the way around for UConn in terms of ball possession. DePaul, they kind of feel like they're playing up to UConn, and UConn doing a great job just causing constant disruption and making it very difficult to get things figured out.
Oh, that was a good chance by Disaster. Shooting accuracy was one of the things that was really emphasized in that Big East tournament. Every team could create chances, but the quality of those chances was something to just kind of look for, and UConn with some great quality chances early.
Absolutely. Jocko going to be able to find that demo onto Disaster. That makes it a very brief 2v3 and only 80 seconds left on the clock. I mean, this is going to be another game where we might go into 0-0 overtime unless one of these teams can really run away with an offense.
And that was kind of the story of that Big East final too. A lot of the games were just 1-goal games. Is that chance grounder to Shikuki, but Anton quick to the jump. He has a goal here. If he can find the angle. No, the post and out, and Droy's can't get the dunk either. How does that one not find its way into the net?
That was a bit of a disaster, honestly. UConn was so close, but DePaul just barely right place, right time, just able to knock that ball out of goal, millimeters away from a goal for UConn, but they were just not able to find it.
I'm just shocked too, because now you got short time left, and now they got to find a way to clear this ball.
Yeah, they've got to get something figured out here one way or another. 30 seconds left. Somebody needs to score, but Shikuki playing a great goalie so far for DePaul, able to knock that ball back toward the goal of UConn. But here's Droy's able to get in the way right away. It looks like we're going to be able to see a kind of a 1v1 a bit. Droy's versus Black Wraith here, and now some great aggression coming through. 10 seconds left. Somebody's got to put a point online.
Oh, great chance in front. Droy's catch, possibly here. The dribble, flick up top. Is someone there? Off the post and out. Anton can't cut the angle. That was a beautiful opportunity gone by the wayside.
Yeah, so stinking close there, but unfortunately just not able to make that goal online. And now the overtime clock begins to tick, and it will continue to do so until somebody gets a point online. This could be 33 seconds. This could be 7 minutes and 51 seconds. Only time will tell. But now Shikuki already going to miss that first goal. Almost a follow-up from Jocko there, but no value coming off the back of it.
That was so dangerous. It was a 2-on-1, and he baited both players, and all of a sudden, Jocko comes flying in, but the third man was able to recover in time, and now Droy's possibly over top of one. This is a dangerous chance.
Might be able to set it up from above, but no, it goes wide up to the left of the goal. A great block from Jocko there, and now already coming up on a minute. It's been about 6 minutes since we've seen a goal, but there it is. Anton just ever so gently rolls the ball into goal, and UConn, they take game one.
That touch right there is actually crazy to get, because one, you don't think that chance is going to find its way to the middle typically, and two, just to drop that still on net. I mean, as you said, he barely touched that ball. He barely redirected it back on goal. But those were the types of plays that UConn were able to find the last time these two teams met.
Yeah. It really does come down to those very small goals, kind of those not accidental, so to speak, but those just very mild, maybe not so flashy goals. Also, completely unrelated to the game at all, but Droy's shout out for like the whole watermelon getup, the whole matching vehicle and everything. I like it. You don't see players do that often. It's usually kind of a mix and match thing, but Droy's going all out with the watermelon, so I love it.
Yeah, and Droy's was one of those players for UConn that we were really kind of looking at through that Big East tournament that he had a lot of success in. It felt like Droy's and Disaster, you know, Chirpboyd or Anton in this case, was kind of the guy who found those goals. He found the awkward plays, even here that awkward touch to find that goal. But it was Droiz and Disaster that bought him the time to make those plays. They were able to get the clear, get the demo, or set up the beautiful pass, find a challenge. Those two players, if they can feed the third man, feed the beast, that's going to be their key to victory.
Absolutely, and now we're seeing some great value coming through already. Some great ball possession for DePaul, but it's going to be ripped away in the blink of an eye. UConn going to get up close and personal, hyper aggressive in the goal. Going to go just a little bit wide up toward the crossbar. Here comes another one from Jocko, but plenty of time for Anton to get in the way and find a disruption.
Fantastic stuff right now. Look at the pressure DePaul's applying, and Shikuki levels one into the bottom third.
Yeah, that was absolutely perfect there, DePaul. They played up close and personal. They gave UConn no time to do anything. They forced them to play defensive. They forced them to react, and they just did not let up the aggression until they were able to score. DePaul going to be up 1-0, only 25 seconds off the clock.
A touch that seemed relatively safe on the side of UConn's defense. They're just trying to push that ball upfield, but again, positioning, the midfield play, and now possibly a pass to Shikuki, back to Jocko, can't find the angle. Blackwraith is going to get stuffed here by Droiz, and Anton will get the clear.
Absolutely, Anton able to clear things up just a little bit for UConn, and Shikuki now trying to get some value of the ball as well. Going to be going toe-to-toe a little bit here, and the ball might be able to find a goal, but a great disruption all over again from UConn. Going to send it right down into Blackwraith, and UConn looking to set it up. Disaster finds a great demo onto Jocko, but Anton might be able to, is going to score. Going to tie things up 1-1, 4 minutes on clock.
Great demo here by Disaster. He gets bumped out, and look at that play. The demo bumped him into Blackwraith. What a great reaction to set up Anton. Blackwraith could have challenged that ball and stopped that angle from happening, but Anton, again, gets the space because of that bump. Not only the demo, but the bump afterward. Fantastic play by UConn.
Absolutely. Oh, okay. And Jocko, no, I'm going to say, and then in the most polite way, that wasn't really a great play. That was just very simple. There was very little effort put into that. Jocko just bumps the ball, and Disaster just milliseconds away from being able to knock it back out of goal. But DePaul very quickly takes the lead once again.
That one's on Droiz. He thinks he has the play off the wall, but it just goes by the nose of his car. He can't find the clear, and that set up Disaster, and Droiz making back up for it.
Redemption arc all over again. Droiz immediately the reason they lose the tie, and then automatically past two defenders creates another one. You see Blackwraith slam on the brakes right there, trying to get back in front of the ball, but just not able to do so. 4 points online, already a much higher scoring game than that first one.
It was a beautiful touch by Anton, gets that pass off the wall, and then sends it nearly on goal, so the defender has to respect it. But either way, 2-2, and as you said, very different from the scoreline of game one. Maybe 3-2, but great save by Anton once again.
Yeah, a phenomenal save from Anton there. And Disaster gets another demo early on to Jocko, but chooses, it seems, to not get things figured out. Droiz now is going to go for a shot. Blackwraith's going to be able to block it. Shikuki playing that goalie all over again. Droiz goes for the demo, but just a little bit too late. Now the goal going to be left wide open, but Shikuki with that great 2-second respawn. Disaster with another demo onto Blackwraith. That has to be like a 5th or 6th one so far. Jocko now able to get the ball forward to Paul, but here comes UConn looking for another goal.
We did not see a lot of demos between these two the last time they played, so really an adaptation here from both sides, as it's really freed up a lot of space, and it's allowed for some of these chances, and you can tell just the pace of play is so much faster.
Absolutely, the pace of play has really kicked into high gear here, and it's going to be 2.5 minutes just now entering halftime, tied up 2-2 in these schools. As I said in the first game, everybody has woken up here right about the same time. UConn and DePaul going absolute toe-to-toe, desperate to eliminate one another from this bracket and secure a spot in the Final Four.
Wanted the defensive bump. That was a chance for Shikuki, but could not find that angle. And now Anton working in the corner. That's a great feed for Droiz. Does he have the angle? No, it's just off. Maybe Disaster flying in. Anton cleaning up the play. No, Blackwraith with another great stop. And DePaul, every chance there was answered.
Yeah, I mean, there was, what, 3 attempts at goal there from UConn and DePaul. They had somebody in the right spot every single time. So a phenomenal turnaround from DePaul up against UConn. But again, somebody's got to win this one way or another, right? Somebody's got to put these points online and take a lead. And it's going to be DePaul. Jocko with a great goal. One that is very well deserved there, right over top of, I think, one defender. But there we go. DePaul once again taking the lead.
Magnificent. I mean, Blackwraith gets that pass off the wall with a defender in his face, and Jocko times the bounce perfectly, slots that thing in the top third of the net, and all of a sudden, DePaul with the lead late in the game.
And a late game lead is exactly what you're going to want, right? As simple as that sounds. The less time your opponent has to score, the better. So 90 seconds left on the clock in DePaul. They are 1 goal away from really securing a victory here in game 2.
Dangerous pass. Great job cutting that off, but it was a double commit. So Jocko, this air dribble is everything to him. Flip reset, no. Great early challenge by Disaster.
Yeah, a great early challenge indeed. We see Shikuki going to set up a goal for a teammate there, but UConn able to get in the way and get things mixed up all over again. Just now approaching 60 seconds left on the clock, and Anton desperate to find this goal and tie things up all over again. Is that going to do it? Goes a little bit wide, and Disaster looking for one of their own, but Shikuki, right place, right time, able to knock that ball away. Here comes Blackwraith, but no. Anton with a phenomenal defense all over again.
There's a lot more control on the side of UConn, but the problem is DePaul's just so quick to these counterattacks. Look at that clear over top of Anton. That's going to kill so much time off the board and generate a great chance, but Disaster diving across shuts that one down.
Yeah, Disaster able to shut that one down and get things figured out. Jocko now has possession of the ball with 30 seconds left on the clock. UConn, they are getting bloodthirsty for this 3rd goal just to tie things up and force an overtime. But DePaul, they are trying so incredibly hard to make sure that does not happen. Joyce finally gets possession of the ball. We see Jocko, a little bit of an overcommitment there, trying to get out of the way. Shikuki goes for a goal. A great setup, and there's the follow-up from Blackwraith. 9 seconds left, 2-point lead, and DePaul has secured what is probably a victory here in game 2.
UConn double commits on the first chance by Blackwraith, and he swoops down in, steals that boost in the corner, comes across and gets that goal to make it 4-2. We were talking about it. Blackwraith is the X factor of DePaul. He shows up in a big moment.
Absolutely a crucial moment. Makes sure that a tie is seemingly impossible and secures a 2nd game victory for DePaul. That at the very least secures us a game 4, but neither of these teams are going to go down without fighting.
I mean, that game was just a complete turnaround from game 1, where it felt like the offenses were slogged down, could not find any openings. Everyone was always in the back third. I really think those demos played a massive part of just freeing up space and limiting resources too. When you get demoed, you spawn back with 30 boosts. So if you take the corner and get demoed for it, all of a sudden the corner boost is now gone and you're only left with a 30-year tank. So it is a massive influence in the game, those demos. On top of that, just the pace was really dictated by the aerial play. You saw how many times UConn was trying to work their way out of the corner, trying to work their way through the midfield with those aerial passes. But DePaul, just wise to the positioning, realizing, okay, this is the angle they're going for. If I can just position my car in the right place, or just play it off the backboard. Jocko's clear with the past, 30 seconds remaining. He had 0 boost to make that clear, but he got so much power on it. It killed so much time.
Absolutely, and DePaul, I mean, it was 11 shots on goal from DePaul, 6 from UConn. So there was definitely a differential in terms of who was perhaps a little bit more aggressive. We saw DePaul was able to score more, and that maybe because they shot on goal more. Who knows? It really could be as simple as that. But UConn, there were definitely some star moments there, but they're going to have to step up their defense just a little bit if they want to try and take this game away from DePaul.
UConn definitely had the higher quality of chances, but it was, at the end of the day, DePaul just finding, the small openings. Once again, the double commits here or there, just a player in the wrong place at the wrong time. They've got to find a way to settle this ball down and not allow UConn to have so much time of possession.
Right, absolutely. We just need to see DePaul get a little bit more aggressive, not allow UConn to get on the ball as much. But now, with a full-blown series on our hands, this game will absolutely set the tempo for the following one. Disaster up high in the sky, looking to set things up, but a great disruption there from Jaco from the side of DePaul. Shakuki now as well getting around that midfield, trying to get some great value, trying to get anything lined up that he can, but unfortunately just not able to find it quite yet. Already this feels reminiscent of game one. A lot of back and forth, no team really having possession of the ball quite yet.
And I think it's because of there's a sort of play style where you're not always just trying to punch the ball on net. A lot of these challenges are just beat the guy in front of you, and that's kind of what I'm looking for both of these teams. It's no longer about, you know, forcing a chance here or there. Just beat your next man to the ball. That's going to be the challenge.
Right, absolutely. It's play one opponent at a time, or what was it that whoever we just interviewed had just said? Look at these teams as each individual team, right? You want to look at them as individual opponents rather than, you know, you're not worried about their seed placement. You're not worried about what happens next. You're worried about what's happening right here in the now. And Disaster almost able to put that first goal online for UConn.
2 posts. He had 2 chances and he hit the post twice. And Jaco, I think he gets credit for both saves there as he finds a way to recover to make those plays. Huge stand for DePaul.
Absolutely a massive stand for DePaul. And Diva Anton with some great aerial gameplay goes for the double tap. Not able to find it, but a wide open goal for UConn. They choose not to take that advantage. They can't get in fast enough to get that opportunity. But DePaul trying to make the magic happen here. It's going to be interrupted right away by Disaster. And again, nobody has really had possession of the ball. They've just been passing it back and forth so consistent.
Been so difficult. Disaster, he had a chance to read that ball from Anton off the backboard, but it's so difficult to tell sometimes where that ball is going to end up, especially off a challenge. That's an awkward touchdown in front. Shakuki actually pulled off of it, thinking that his man in front was going to be able to make that play, and now they're going to have to retreat because of it.
Absolutely. Now they're going to have to retreat and fall back just a little bit, maybe re-coordinate as a team and push Indy a little bit more aggressive afterward. Disaster, a great disruption all over again, a great interception of the ball mid-air, and Droys as well, trying to make anything happen. But we've already passed halftime, and again, like I said, this feels so incredibly reminiscent of game one, but Disaster finally able to put something online for UConn.
Beautiful shot. Anton, look at that pass to Droys, and Droys is not trying to hit the net there. He knows if he just punches that off the wall, Disaster's going to be there, and just a beautiful shot underneath, crossbar and down, and UConn strikes first.
UConn draws that first blood. Indeed, 2 minutes left on the clock, and it's going to be 1-0 here. DePaul trying to get things figured out and make it happen, but UConn won just 2 minutes away from taking a second game.
Great pass to Disaster. Black Wraith, great read on the ball, too, to answer. And that's going to be huge, too, because we've seen how many times have UConn gone for that backboard. DePaul hasn't always gone up for it, but they've been able to read it off the backboard. If they can get up in time and just shut down those backboard plays, that's going to be a lot of UConn's offense off the board.
Absolutely, UConn's offense, they want to get things figured out and get things lined up, but instead it's Disaster all over again, able to get things lined up and make the magic happen with a second goal.
Shakuki, that doesn't even feel like a bad play, but it's a beautiful infield pass, and Disaster pre-jumping it just to find that angle and split both defenders. That was a beautiful read by UConn.
Yeah, that was a beautiful read indeed. Just kind of one step ahead of the opponent, and it really paid off at the end of the day. 2-0 here. DePaul, I mean, they've got 80 seconds, right? That's plenty of time to score twice, but it's definitely going to be difficult.
Yeah, and oh, that's actually a beautiful chance, but Jaco with a huge save, and DePaul's defense, it doesn't even look all that much out of sorts. It's just the quality of chances again, trying to juke Shakuki. But with a minute remaining now, DePaul, they've got to find a way to sustain some offense.
Absolutely. Their offense really started to struggle, and their defense paying the price as well. UConn kind of, I've said it already, you're kind of waking up a little bit, putting themselves 1-2 steps ahead of DePaul, and then DePaul just unfortunately cannot react fast enough. Disaster having the ball once again is terrifying for DePaul because Disaster is the only person that has scored this game back-to-back goals nonetheless. 30 seconds left on the clock, and DePaul, the clock is ticking indeed. They are running out of time to make things happen here.
Great drop-down pass, but there was no boost in the tank left. Couldn't find that angle. And now the counterattack from Anton off the post. Droy's going to turn on this one, centering it. And they're just going to kill some time here. They know they've got a 2-goal lead. They only need to buy so much time for themselves.
Yeah, like you said, they literally just need to buy, pretty much now it's impossible to score twice, right? So UConn, they have secured another victory here in Game 3. And again, we are guaranteed 4 games, but if DePaul wins this upcoming game, that will take us all the way to Game 5 in DePaul. They are desperately going to want to make that happen because this is a single elimination bracket. Whichever team loses this game is taken out of the tournament as a whole. So UConn desperate to win this 3rd game, DePaul desperate to win their 2nd and keep themselves alive.
And remember what we were saying too about time of possession. How long did UConn have the ball in the blue half? I mean, 9 shots to 2. DePaul's offense never got a chance to work in this game.
You know, their offense just did not get to flourish at all. They hardly got to even use it. Realistically, the offense did not get to shine in the slightest, and that is where DePaul obviously shows, you know, their greatest moments is when they are on that offense. But now they're gonna have to figure out, they're gonna have to find the crack in UConn's armor here because this is becoming scary for them, right? This is their tournament life on the line. If they lose this game, they will be removed. In UConn, they are looking to make just that happen.
Yeah, and I think the key for DePaul, if they want to extend this series, they have got to wisen up to those backboard plays. They have got to find a way to clear the ball. And I think the best way to do that, those backboard clears. We saw Jacko late in game number 2 find a great backboard clear with 0 boost. We saw Blackwraith already up in the air to challenge the ball. You can't rest on your laurels on defense here. You have to come out, press a little bit, cut down on these angles, and give yourself a chance to clear the ball away and go chase after it, because the way UConn is playing, these passes are so dangerous. You can't continue to let them happen.
Absolutely. I mean, you can play, like we always say, you can play a solid defense, but you can't score with a good defense. You need just as good an offense. Right now, we've seen DePaul kind of forced into that defense a little bit more than perhaps they would like to be. Anton now going to be able to get a little bit of ball possession. Droids with a great follow-up, but going to go a little bit wide, not able to find the lineup there. 4.5 minutes on the clock, and UConn there just a couple of goals away from securing a spot in the semifinals.
And this is a dangerous start to the game too, because UConn has all the boost right now. They've starved Blackwraith. Blackwraith finally able to pick up some boost as Jocko gets the clear, but Anton, great midfield play to keep the pressure on.
Absolutely some great midfield play indeed, trying to get things lined up and make the magic happen. Droids with a great demo now. A disaster goes for the shot on goal, but not quite able to find it. Blackwraith with a phenomenal defense there, trying to get a little bit of pressure of his own, but going to be attacked by all 3 defenders there. Droids going for another wide goal. Going to go up and above, but the defenders, right place, right time, able to knock it back. Droids gets the demo onto Jocko, but DePaul, they've got ball possession all over again.
First real chance for DePaul's offense too, but again, slogged down in those corners. Can't find a way to center it. Great chance from Jacko to split 2 defenders, but they find a way to make that save. And now this is the first real time that Connecticut's defense has been tested.
Yeah, Connecticut, they've kind of been forced back to the wall on this game here. Jocko just pushing in hyper aggressive, and this is the last time we saw DePaul score, is when they just forced UConn on that defense, forced them to look at their own goal, but now it looks like they may have left theirs open in the process. Blackwraith with a phenomenal defensive play there. It looks like a follow-up, just barely going to miss from Troy, still sitting at 0-0, 2 minutes off the clock, and UConn, I mean, they are bloodthirsty to find this goal.
They know they've got a lot of pressure. What a beautiful chance from Blackwraith, but Droids makes the save. That's a double commit too, if Jacko can find a way to center this thing. A great stop.
All about that slow burn here, just now crossing that 3-minute marker, and Jocko looking to play the defense, but Shikuki is able to block it for them. Jocko now pushing it into the goal of UConn, but Disaster going to be able to pick things up instead. Again, this is one of those games, it feels like nobody has ball possession. It is these games that UConn really starts to shine. So Anton finding the demo onto Shikuki, maybe the first domino to fall, but no, not quite yet. Nothing going to follow up. Just crossing halftime, still at 0-0.
They found that demo, but they needed to go back and gather boost. Couldn't do anything with that play. That's a beautiful touch by Blackwraith over top, and Anton has to buy some time. Tries to juke again, but he's out of boost. So now possibly some offense here for DePaul. That's an awkward play for Jocko. Down middle to Blackwraith. Can't find the angle, but the offense continues.
Oh! There it is! Shikuki with the double tap. I missed the first time, and I saw the defender, and I was like, oh no, they're not going to get it. But instead, Shikuki just barely passed Anton, past, who was that? Droids, past 2 defenders from UConn, but DePaul, they finally put a point on line.
It looked like Blackwraith was going to shoot, and then he shot it into the corner, and it ends up being a pass, and Shikuki's pre-jump actually ended up putting him in the perfect place to get not only around the first defender, but clean up the play off the post to dunk the second one. So brilliant play from DePaul to take the lead here, and still plenty of time left in this game, but again, a late lead is everything in this match.
Absolutely, and I'm very curious to see kind of what is going to happen here for UConn. We've really seen them utilizing demos a lot, but never at the proper time. We need to see them kind of pull a Cincinnati and demo the goalkeeper right before you go for the shot on goal, because that is really essentially a free goal if you can pull it off appropriately.
Yeah, the demos were so massive in that first set. We saw in game 2 they were really able to free up some space, but this is dangerous. Oh, you saw there, he went for the bump and Shikuki got around it. Brilliant play, and now the counterattack is on.
Counterattack is on indeed, and now Shikuki trying to get a goal again, but Disaster going to be in the way. 60 seconds on the clock here. DePaul, if they can play a solid defense for this minute, they very well may have forced a game 5, but UConn, 60 seconds is plenty of time to get a point online.
Shikuki tried to buy time with that air dribble, but Anton was so fast to the ball. Now Blackwraith, that's an awkward touch. This is going to leave it for Droys. He's going to beat the first man, possibly a recenter. Just holds off and jukes on him, but no chance there. But Anton keeping the pressure on. Down in front of Blackwraith. Can't find the shot on net, and Blackwraith will clear it away.
Oh, like you said, Anton pressure on, but Disaster here trying to get things figured out all the same. 24 seconds left. UConn, you've got to find something. We are going all the way to a game 5, and your tournament life will be on the line the very same as DePaul's is right now. 15 seconds left, and Shikuki goes for another one, but a great block out from Troyes, out from Anton, who desperately need to make this happen. They've got to pull a Cincinnati and score with no time left on the clock, but that is so incredibly difficult to do, especially with DePaul in your face, looking for another goal. 1 second left, and the clock is a ticking. UConn, they've got to score with no time left online. No! Oh, no. Oh, no. UConn.
So here's how that play ends up happening. Anton gets the ball on his own goal line with short time left, right? Gets the flick over top of the first defender and finds that pass down, or pass up to, I believe, Disaster, who drops it down, but Anton spent all that time up the wall with no boost. He had nothing left in the tank. He used all his resources to make that first pass happen. If he had picked up any other pellet, he might have had enough boost in the tank to make that play.
That one stings. That one stings, and I'm not even one of the players. I can only imagine how they feel right now. Inches away from tying that up, right? This close to being able to force an overtime there, but instead you give the victory to DePaul, and your tournament life is on the line. I mean, this suddenly got very serious for UConn. They had a lead. They were so comfortable, and they were milliseconds away from tying things up in that game 4. But now we are going all the way to game 5. DePaul versus UConn, single elimination bracket. Only one of these teams walks away victorious.
The winner of this is on to the Final Four. How much pressure is that? I mean, again, UConn, they had so many quality chances. They had so much time of possession. And yet DePaul's defense showed up where it needed, and they found their one goal. They found their opening. That's a huge demo, but a huge clear as well from Disaster.
I meant to talk, and I just yelled instead when that demo came through. I meant to say important things, and then I just forgot how to speak English. But Disaster gonna get things figured out very early on, trying to set up UConn for any kind of possession of the ball. But here comes DePaul doing the exact same thing. Both these teams, their fight or flight has been activated, and they have both chosen fight. They're trying to get things figured out. Half a minute off the clock, no goals online, and it looks so close for Blackwraith, but a great block from Disaster.
Great block, and now look at the clear he's got here. Over top of Jacko, possibly. That's going to be a goal. Disaster does it all by himself here in Game 5.
A Disaster able to put something online for UConn here. DePaul not able to do the same quite yet. 4:19 on clock, and some great pressure coming through UConn. They've taken the lead all over it again, but now DePaul, they've got 4 minutes to turn this around.
That was a huge opening goal, too, because, yes, you have plenty of time, but we talked about how much time of possession UConn has had throughout the past couple of games. DePaul, how many chances are they going to get in this game? Here's a good chance to over across. Shikuki could not get over in time. It was a beautiful passing play. but the pressure's still on here. Blackwraith underneath, over top to Jocko off the backboard. The
Oh.
redirect is down, and it's saved by Disaster.
It's Disaster all day long so far. The one to find the goal, the one to block the goal from DePaul, just keeping UConn alive by a single point. 3 minutes and 40 seconds. If Disaster can keep up this gameplay, the other two players from UConn aren't even needed right now. It is Disaster's world, and these other 5 are simply living in it for the time being. A great offense, a great defense, 3.5 minutes on the clock, and UConn so close to taking this victory here today.
They have to play so careful, though, because they know the pressure is on now. DePaul, that's another great chance. Disaster, an awkward clear. Jocko keeping the pressure on once more, but that was a nice clear over top. And that challenge, that's going to be a shot down. That's going to be a shot in, and Droys makes it 2-0.
Droys dunks the ball into goal there and makes it 2-0. DePaul, things are getting scary. One more goal for UConn, and this is going to become a Herculean task. Now, scoring twice in 3 minutes, that's pretty easy. Scoring 3 times in 3 minutes, obviously a little bit harder. So DePaul, they need to get things figured out here. They've got to flip momentum because UConn is really starting to run away with Game 5.
Comment 2, that pass to Droys was all set up by a beautiful challenge by Anton. Anton has had a fantastic game so far. Once again, the series for him, he has been one of those X-Factor players for UConn.
Absolutely. Folks, let us know in chat right now. I can't see chat, but I'll go back and look later. Who wins? UConn, DePaul. I want to see who calls it. I want to see who's right. I want to see who's got faith in their team right now, because it is really going to come down to this. And Disaster with the triple goal for UConn. Maybe you guys shouldn't answer that question anymore, because I think they're all just going to say UConn. But, you know, DePaul, they are able to not get this lined up yet. And like I said, this is just the Disaster show here in Game 5.
They needed another player to step up, and in the biggest moment for UConn, it's Disaster. Right place, right time. Once again, he has been all over the field. I'd be shocked to see if he doesn't get MVP, but still, he got half the game to go. And look at the chance from Blackwraith on the pre-flip to make it 3-1.
Yeah, Jocko knocks it down, and Blackwraith just knocks it clean in past 2 defenders. Able to get that lined up. So DePaul, they get 1 point online. They've got to do that 2 more times just to tie. 3 to take the victory. But like you said, we just passed halftime. Plenty of time for this to go either way.
And that jump from Blackwraith was everything too, because he juked 2 defenders. He thought he was going to go high with the shot, but the shot actually ended up going up underneath and behind the defender. So great mix-up by Blackwraith. They need more of those quality chances.
Absolutely, they need to get these quality chances lined up. It's going to be 2 minutes left on the clock, but Jocko might be able to find another one. No! It looks like he almost found it on himself there, but it looks like his teammate was able to get in the way and knock that away. 2 minutes left on clock, and DePaul probably pretty glad they did not just score on themselves there.
Very dangerous too, but look how much time this offensive presence is killing. Anton, that's a great challenge by Jocko. Can he get back down to it? Yes, he can, but Disaster gets a piece of it, and now the counterattack is on if they can find that touch in mid, but no. Blackwraith with a huge challenge once again.
And UConn in such an unusual position where, like, they can go for as many goals as they want, but if they don't find them, no harm, no foul. They're still up by 2 points. There's only 76 seconds left on the clock, and now DePaul, the clock is ticking. They are running out of time to make this happen. They've got to score twice in 70 seconds just to find a tie, let alone take the lead and win it. But that is going to hurt Disaster with the hat trick here in Game 5. Pretty much the nail in the coffin for DePaul.
And that feels so bad for Jocko because he's indecisive here. He dodges the demo, realizes it's his chance to play the ball, just tries to flick it forward just to try and see what he can do with it, possibly get onto the hood of his car. It's already too little too late. Disaster was so quick to that challenge, and no one was back ready in time for it.
Absolutely. Disaster finding a great demo onto Blackwraith as well. Shakuki trying to make anything happen, but I think DePaul, they unfortunately know their tournament life has come to an end here today. 43 seconds left. They'll have to score 3 times just to tie. That is once per, like, 10 seconds. That is incredibly difficult, if not impossible. So UConn may have secured their spot in the Final Four.
with 30 seconds to go, and maybe one for the road. Great redirect by Droids, but again, just this possession killing so much time, possibly a chance, but UConn, when everything was on the line, Disaster struck twice, make it 3 times, actually a hat trick, and in the biggest moment, the champions of the Big East came through in the clutch. 4-1, maybe one more for the road, but that was a fantastic
There it
showing.
is. That was a phenomenal showing. Disaster in particular, I mean, just came to life in game 5. We saw a pretty consistent game so far. 3 shots on goal, 3 goals, 3 saves. I mean, lucky threes all across the board for Disaster here today. And DePaul, unfortunately, a team so strong that we are very familiar with, will be eliminated. They are not able to make it to that Final Four spot. But UConn, they, I think, are the first team to secure their spot in the Final Four. I'll have to secure that.
Continues.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, this was like here's the thing. UConn, they were what, 3-6 in the fall split. They had a rough fall split, but since then it has been a complete turnaround from the start of spring. I think they've only lost a handful of close sets, and then they start off in that Big East tournament as the 7th seed and upset the number 1, number 2, number 3 seeds. They had to go through Butler and Xavier, who looked fantastic. And now, here in this tournament, they're the number 3 seed. They come in, they get the rematch against DePaul, and once again, a very close, very tightly competitive set. Only a goal or 2 really separating until the very last moment, where the depth of this roster between Anton and Disaster showing up in big moments. I mean, it only feels like the third man, like it's their time is right around the corner.
Absolutely. I mean, it seems that we're going to throw to a very small break and get to talk to the man himself, Disaster, the star of Game 5, in just a moment. But we're going to throw to a quick break. We're going to pull him in here, and we'll see you guys in just a sec for the interview. What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the interview with the man himself, Disaster, the star-studded player from UConn there at the very end. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. How are you guys?
I mean, I'm sure I'm good, but I'm sure I'm not feeling as great as you. If I'm not mistaken, you are our first team to secure a spot in the Final Four. I may be wrong on that, but hey, you've made it to the Final Four, even if I am wrong, which is absolutely insane. So a huge congratulations to you. So my question for you is, a lot of the other top seed teams are gone. Delaware's gone. Marist is gone. Is there any team left that you guys are really kind of nervous to go up against, or are you guys just ready to keep moving forward?
We're ready to keep moving forward. I mean, we saw Seton Hall get knocked out, and then Delaware today, I think. We were surprised about those games, but just keep pushing forward.
Absolutely. Take every game one step at a time.
Of course.
Yeah, and you guys have been really, it has been a complete turnaround, it feels like, since the fall split. What do you guys attribute that to? Because since the start of spring, I mean, you go back all the way to the Big East tournament, and now this tournament, another top 4 appearance. What is it for you guys that's allowed you guys to turn your season around?
Lately we've been playing like every day. It's been a lot, and it's good. I'd like to attribute a lot of it to mindset too. We've been more positive lately, and I think it's helping a ton.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So something that you may not know is I was just informed your next opponent is going to be UT Arlington. They did end up defeating RIT, and they have secured their spot in the Final Four as well. Is there anything particular about that matchup that you may be prepared for or not prepared for? Are you ready to just take it head on?
I think we're just going to take it head on, one game at a time.
Absolutely.
Play our game,
absolutely.
get it done.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, you're one game away from grand finals, right? It really does come down to that. And you guys are a force to be reckoned with, to say the very least. So my final question for you, not really about the game, just kind of about you as a player. Is there anybody you want to shout out, anybody you want to thank while we've got you here on the mic before we call it a day?
Well, of course, the boys at UConn, boys and girls at UConn, supporting us in chat. It's always a help. I love to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we that's talking about my favorite part of being up here as well, is just seeing that camaraderie against players and all the people here to support their schools. But Disaster, thank you so much for joining us, my friend. Sorry, we got to cut it short. We've got Overwatch in literally 9 minutes, so we've got to get over to that as well. But a phenomenal job. Tell your whole team, you guys are a team to watch out for here in the Final Four. We cannot wait to see what you do next.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for joining us.
Take care.
And folks, with that, it does bring today to a close here in the Rocket League division. We have Overwatch coming up in literally about 9 minutes. I will be on the main channel with Dryad. I know there's another one happening on the EGF Overwatch channel, but that does close this channel for the rest of the day. I think that's everything we need to get out of the way. There is some more Rocket League happening. I think not for a while, not until next weekend, if I'm not mistaken. So definitely keep an eye out for that. But, you know, well, it'll be soon. Follow the channel. You get live notifications. You'll know when we go live. So we'll get things figured out for you then. But for the time being, folks, check your posture, drink some water. Don't forget to love each other. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next weekend.